Boom, what's good happening, everybody? It's your boy Ferris Muthana, and welcome to another edition of Good Friends, Better Rivals. You're seeing right now that I'm by myself, perfectly fine, because good news. My co-host Caleb is actually in Oxnard, California, waiting to watch Dallas Cowboys training camp. So there's that. That's why he'll be a little late. He's getting there. I think he just arrived. Um, shout out to Tony. Shout out to you, Tony. So Caleb just arrived to Oxnard. He said he was about 30 minutes away. So he'll be watching training camp for a couple of days, and we'll get his thoughts on it. Either like next week in the next couple of weeks on what did he see live and what did he like. So there's that. But before we get into it, um, we'll talk some Giants. Yes, I stole your time slot. Yes, I did. I did. I did. I stole it. I stole it. I'm a thief. I am a thief. But it is what it is. But now let's talk about some Giants related stuff. A couple of big things coming out of training camp. The offense is looking good. Daniel Jones is loving, is in love with Darren Waller. I believe Darren Waller had 7 or 6 of Daniel Jones in 11 on 11. I think today or yesterday went 9 for 11, and like 6 other passes went to Darren Waller. So Darren Waller has paid massive dividends for the team. It's opening up the middle. I think they're gonna go. I think the Giants are gonna go a lot of 2 tight end sets with him and Daniel Bellinger, because they're both solid tight ends, and I believe they could become the best tight end tandem in the league. Because I'm a big fan of Daniel Bellinger. I love Daniel Bellinger. He is the man. Then adding Darren Waller is going to help him out because it's going to free him up because people are going to focus on him and kind of disregard Daniel Bellinger to their own peril, I believe. And he will more catching opportunities, more yak. The middle of the field will be open. So there's that. Um, as well as like I said last year, when Daniel Bellinger got injured in that Jacksonville Jaguar game where they poked him in the eye, the team kind of changed a little and they kind of sputtered because I believe he was an extremely valuable member of the team because he was kind of the the full tight end, like the full tight end, um, in that in the full like all around tight end. Tanner Hudson was more of a blocking tight end. No, Tanner Hudson was the receiving tight end. Chris Myrick was the H back kind of fullback tight end blocking. Then you had Lawrence Cager, who's a straight receiving tight end, former receiver. Now he's a tight end. So there's that. So Daniel Bellinger is like the full tight end. I think he's an all around great tight end. He was key for last year because of the way we blocked. We ran the ball a lot. So there's that. As well as we had a couple contracts was given out to New York Giants and a Cowboy. The first contract I believe is Andrew Thomas's deal. Well, actually, Saquon Barkley's deal. Saquon Barkley signed a 1-year deal. It wasn't a franchise tag. It was a million more than a franchise tag. He was getting 10 million guaranteed with the franchise. Now he has a way of getting 11 million due to incentives. But there's $900,000 in incentives, so he'll be playing. He's not sitting out. He didn't even miss a practice. A lot of people on Twitter have been saying that that's not his brand. He didn't want to do that. He was brand conscious. He's not going to miss any games because that's not who Saquon Barkley is. He's going to do it. And I think there's a theory. I think that's a good assertion or an inference in that. But I still think, well, we will see. We will see. Ryan Christensen says, as much as I want to believe you, Ferris, Buffalo have the best tight end tandem in the league with Kincaid and Knox. Dalton Kincaid, he's a good prospect, phenomenal prospect in the draft. Dawson Knox was a good tight end last year, but I just think our tight end group is slightly a little bit better because I just think because I think because the full tight end is I honestly think Daniel Bellinger is a better blocker than Dawson Knox in my opinion. So there's that. And then so Saquon Barkley gets his deal. It's a 1-year deal. The tag's off. Tony says Baltimore's tight end room is the best. Yeah, it's because y'all got like 15 of them. So y'all got to have at least good people. Having 15 tight ends don't mean nothing. Y'all got quantity. We got quality. So those two are phenomenal. So we'll see about that. And then the big contract, I believe, that we need to focus on is working this up, is the Andrew Thomas deal. Andrew Thomas is like the third best left tackle in the game. I read a lot of Brandon Thorne, and Brandon Thorne talks to Duke Manyweather and Andrew Whitworth. Where they ranked the left tackles, and they said he is number 3, or either 3 or 4. I believe it was 3, where they had, I believe, Trent Williams, of course, Trenton Williams, Laramie Tunsil. They had Laramie Tunsil up there, and Andrew Thomas, and he was like 3 or 4, and we were killed for drafting him. We were killed for drafting. We were told, you guys picked the wrong tackle. You guys picked the wrong player. Mekhi Becton is better than him. Tristan Wirfs is better than him. Jedrick Wills is better than him. You guys picked the worst tackle out of the 4. You guys got the 4th best tackle at the 4th pick. You guys made a mistake. Well, guess what? No, we didn't. Because Jedrick Wills and Tristan Wirfs don't play left tackle. They play right tackle. They were moved. All right. That's the thing people need to forget about. Playing right tackle and left tackle completely different. You're the blind side. You're the man who's supposed to protect the quarterback. He can't see. He can't see that side. Most quarterbacks in the NFL are right-handed. Then they got Tua Tagovailoa, whose blind side is the right tackle. But most quarterbacks are right-handed, so they can't see what's coming from behind. They can't see it. So you need to make sure nothing is coming. Now, nothing is gonna attack them when they can't see it. And Andrew Thomas, that's what he does. Mekhi Becton hasn't been on the field at all his entire NFL career. He's always injured for the Jets. Jedrick Wills and Tristan Wirfs play the right tackle, so they're good. They're great tackles, phenomenal tackles, but they're not left tackles. And we all know the left tackle is the premium offensive line position. That and center. And Andrew Thomas was the right pick at 4. We started him right away. So you're starting. You're the left tackle of the future. It was it was a little rough and a little bumpy at the beginning of his career, but he built himself up and kept building, and now he's a top 5 left tackle. And in a couple years, he could be the best left tackle in the game. That's all I gotta say. The Rogue Pod says I had Dexter Lawrence and Andrew Thomas ranked 33 and 32 in my top 10 ranking. Oh, yep. That's okay. All right. Yeah, I'm cool with that. By the way, guys, if you wanna, it's a great top 10 ranking. Shout out to the Rogue Pod, phenomenal videos dropping left and right. So make sure to go watch his top 100. I believe 2 videos dropped yesterday, or yes, a video dropped yesterday. So there's that. But we also have a couple position battles in the at camp. There's a position battle on all the offensive line except left and right tackle. Ben Bredesen, Joshua Zudu, Darnay Holmes, Bobby McCann, Darian Beavers trying to play inside linebacker 2 with Bobby Okereke. So there's that. But it's competition. It's all about competition, really. Competition is key. And that's what I really like. I like reading Dan Duggan's articles on The Athletic, and he really breaks it down. So shout out to Dan Duggan, shout out to you, my man. Big fan. So there's that. And my bad, you gotta sign in real quick. So the injury report is, Jalen Hyatt hasn't been really been blowing people out of the water early on, but he's a rookie receiver. He still got growing pains. So there's that. We had a couple injuries. Javaris Owens, our rookie safety, was hurt. Rakeem Nunez Anacho actually got hurt. He was leaving practice. He got into a car accident, ended up getting concussion. So there was that problem. So he was hurt. Dan Duggan's main keys, his observations were on Thursday, they conducted more 11 on 11. It was focused on third and short, medium situations. And, Daniel Jones loved Darren Waller. And the first 3 passes in the 11 on 11 period, Dan Duggan reveals, is Um, the first three passes went to Darren Waller. A lot of them were coming off of RPOs. Um, I believe, yes, yep, RPOs. They've been using a lot of multiple tight end personnel groupings early in the camp. That's what I'm saying. Daniel Bellinger, Lawrence Cager has been into it. So there's that. And then Colin Johnson is coming back off of his Achilles injury. He got the best of Deontay Banks twice in one-on-one drills in the red zone, but that's what he is. He's a big red zone target, big solid hands, a lot of a big catch radius. So there's that. And then, not surprising, it's trial by fire, by Deontay Banks. They're just throwing him in there and be like, hey man, let's go. Let's make the mistakes in practice and let's run and gun. That's what it is. Isaiah Hodgins, he did break up a fade when Jones tried to pass it wide to Isaiah Hodgins, so he broke up the fade. Kind of it's what's called the goldfish mentality is what Dan Duggan said, and what a lot of people say, just forgetting what just happened. Just forgetting, goldfish have like 10-second memories. They forget what just happened. They forget what they just ate. They forget what they were doing, and just boom, on to the next. And speaking of on to the next, let me bring on my co-host who just arrived at Oxnard, California at Cowboys training camp. The man, the myth, the legend. But before I do that, everyone, make sure to like this video. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. We're over 100 subscribers. We're trying to get 200 or 150. That's the next goal: 150, then 200, then 250, and 300. So like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, and so you can get all our video notifications. We have a bunch of videos coming out. This is a network, so there's more than one show. So make sure to do that as well. As well as around at 8 o'clock Pacific, we're having our open table show on our entertainment channel. Me and Adelia will be joined by Kiwi Jess, talk about all things traveling and living in New Zealand. But everyone, without further ado, it's the man, it's the myth, it's the legend, Caleb. How are you?
I'm great, man. I just got here, just got in, just checked in the hotel. I'm here in sunny Oxnard, California, ready for watch my Cowboys at practice tomorrow. There's no practice today, so that's why I drove here today. But there will be practice tomorrow, and I'm extremely excited to go watch see my Cowboys.
Caleb, is this the first time you're watching them training camp live?
No, I went to San Antonio training camp in 2009. That's when they were kind of going back and forth back in the day. Now they're just always here in Oxnard, so it's the first time I've gotten a chance to come out to Oxnard. Me being living in Vegas, it's a lot closer over here than going all the way to Texas. So I was happy to come make the drive out here to see the Cowboys.
All right, Caleb, man, let's get your thoughts on some of these Cowboy thoughts, man. Trayvon Diggs got his deal. What's going on, man? You like the contract? You like the player? Well, what's your thoughts on it, man?
Yeah, it's a long term deal for Trayvon Diggs. It's a lot of money, but he's a great player. I mean, I think in my personal opinion, I think he's one of the best cornerbacks in the league. Um, he's a great playmaker, makes a lot of plays on the ball when he gets his hands on it. Um, Seeing that he was a receiver back in the day and transitioning to corner, he definitely has that receiving mentality to, once he gets the ball in his hands, he can make plays with it. And we haven't had that since, since Dion, honestly, because we've had solid corners like a Terrence Newman or Byron Jones, who were very solid corners, but not playmakers like Trayvon Diggs is. So to get a guy like that, it's been extremely rare for us in the last 20 years to have that sort of player. So sign him for a big deal. I'm all for it because that is one, I think, a premium position in the league that you really need. Very important position at corner to have a corner like that. And people last year, oh, he got the interceptions, but he gave so many yards, and then he fixed that last year. They won so many. We didn't have as many interceptions, but we didn't have as many yards either. So I think he's been more of a well-rounded corner now, and that's why I think he is one, because he still has the playmaking ability and still has a shutdown corner mentality. So I think he's best of both right now. I think he's in a perfect situation right now, and that's why he got his big money.
So Caleb, it's a 5-year deal worth $97 million with $42.3 million guaranteed. I don't know where it puts him on the cornerback paying like pecking order contract wise. I didn't double check it.
Yeah,
But
I haven't seen it compared to others either.
yeah,
It's probably up there at the top. I would assume at least. It's almost a
but this is
$100 million
the
deal.
beginning. So is this the beginning of of the big contract and lockups for the Cowboys? Because you have
Uh,
two more, you have two more players in receiver, CeeDee Lamb, as well as defensive lineman, linebacker, Micah Parsons. Y'all are starting to lock in the youngsters for long periods of time. Is this the beginning of two more big deals coming up in the next year or two?
yeah, absolutely. I think that is the plans going forward. Obviously, the immediate contract to deal with is at guard with Zach Martin because he did not show up to camp. But he did send his text to his teammates on the line. He said he was going to be there soon. So I would assume that means that him and the Cowboys are working towards a deal. So I think they're probably close to doing that deal with Zach Martin, and then comes the rest of the players. Obviously, I probably think the next one after that will be CeeDee Lamb. Obviously, they picked up his fifth-year option,
Mhm.
and but I think he'd probably be the next one because Parsons been there only 2 years. I mean, he's got a little bit of time to work on that one. That was going to be an extremely massive deal, but they have time to work on that one. And then Dak, we'll see what he wants and how much he's going to go for. That's probably another one that's going to maybe take some time to do between those two parties.
All right, I got the breakdowns right here. Is the extension? Here's the base salary. It is this is the deal that's not included. So it's the 1 year. It's the $1 million this year because it's the end of his deal. And then here's the next 5 years. You have $11 million base salary, 4.25 million at signing. The cap hit is 16 million. Dead cap is 28. Yearly cash is 12, and the cash AAV is 17.15 at the beginning of the year. And then it decreases. It goes to 14, 14, 16, 16. But the base salary increases from 11, then it decreases to 9, but it goes to 14.5, 19.5. And then if you guys keep him till his 31-year-old season, it is $20 million. I think this is looking good. I think this is looking good.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, like I said, like you said earlier, it's just who's next in line.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it's not like these were paid. I think we're just paying because a lot of time I think before we were just paying guys that didn't deserve it. Like we paid Jalen Smith, definitely didn't deserve that contract that we gave him, or the running backs that back in the day, or Zeke, or like we kind of paid the guys too early or that weren't worth it. I think these guys are worth it because I think they've just shown that these are really stars of the league, um, and some of the best players at the position. So I don't mind giving big money to the guys that are in line here. Obviously with Trayvon Diggs, with Zach Martin, Mike Parsons, Dak, all great players right there.
Mm-hmm. It's the fifth highest contract by corners, only behind Marlon Humphrey of the Ravens, Jalen Ramsey of the Dolphins, Denzel Ward of the Browns, and Jair Alexander of the Packers. Speaking of Jalen Ramsey, unfortunately, he got injured in practice a couple days ago. It was a knee injury. It wasn't an ACL tear. It was like just something like happened either with a
Meniscus.
ligament, a meniscus, or a ligament, or probably the knee structure. Something happened, and I'm gonna be real with you, man. I'm starting to these non-contact injuries. I'm sorry. We need to get rid of turf. We need to get rid of it. It needs to be gone. Like it needs to be gone, man. I don't like turf. I just don't like it. I think it's probably the worst invention ever. Like even like like with AstroTurf, the reason with AstroTurf was it was rough. It was like running on cement. That's why you had to like run with like run with like like basketball turf. But like we just gotta get rid of this, man. It's outrageous.
Yeah, I mean that's a big push in the league. I mean, I hear the advertisements all the time on the radio. They're pushing for change the turf because the NFL is getting hurt too much on that. And it's a big problem for them in the league, and it shows. I mean, but he's not the only one that got hurt. Joe Burrow, also with the calf injury,
Mhm.
um, and then right here in the Cowboys, Donovan Wilson also with the calf strain. He's going to be out pretty much the same amount of time as Joe Burrow from like next 4 to 6 weeks. But they said he's going to be ready for week 1. But that sucks not Donovan Wilson out there, especially when we haven't even got pads on, because I think that guy needs to get his pads on to work himself into that kind of football shape of getting the hits in, because that's our big hitter right there.
Mhm.
That really kind of hurt. I think that kind of hurts him, not be able to get those padded practices during training camp, because this fortunate calf strain. I don't know what it is. I don't know what's going on there. Um, Maybe it's just they're off so much time and they're going right into the first couple
Mhm.
practices and they're just getting injured. Maybe they need like ramp up a little more to this training camp instead of having a big space right before a big so much off time right there. Maybe it's more an easing transitional period into training camp.
Mhm. Yeah, so I've I like using Spot Track. It's a good app. You get to see NFL salary rankings. So Trayvon Diggs is fifth in guaranteed rankings. See, that's what I care about, the guaranteed. I don't care about the contract, right? Because like NFL contracts, they lie. Caleb, can you do you agree with me? Like they be lying. All right, they
Well,
say
yeah,
this is
I
it.
mean, basically, the NFL contracts nowadays, you can basically just say like, "Who cares?" I mean, what's really how long is it really? How much
Mhm,
guarantee? I guess the only thing that matters is guaranteed money, because that's obviously it's guaranteed. That's how much you're going to get. That's how much
mhm.
we know they're going to get, and everything else is kind of we'll see how it goes, how well they play, and then whatever their bonuses of hitting their marks on their stats is uh, what they're going to get paid.
So yeah, so if you look at the guaranteed, right? You're still fifth with 42 million. But then the people in front of you kind of change, where Denzel Ward had $71 million guaranteed, Marlon Humphrey 67 million guaranteed, Marshall Lattimore 58 million, and Tre'Davious White at 55 million guaranteed. So it kind of changed up with the guarantees when you kind of like see it a little different. Then you got Derek Stingley Jr. is in the top 5 actually at 34 million. So wow, that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, and
No.
a lot of the contracts negotiations now is just like say, hey, look, I'm better than this guy. I should getting paid more than this guy.
Mhm.
That's what's going on with Zach Martin right now. I mean, I think the Cowboys did everything they needed to do when they first signed him. I mean, he was like we said last week, he's the highest paid guard at the time, but now he's going to come back and say, hey, nah, I mean, this guy's getting paid more than me, and I'm better than him, so I should give him being paid more than him. And that's kind of the how negotiate. Kind of your negotiation is kind of like a little bit already taken care of. Consider you can just say like, okay, that guy's getting this much. Okay, I want a little more, a little less, or somewhere in between.
Yeah, I'm looking at these left tackles, and I don't see I don't see Andrew Thomas at all. Like I don't get it.
I mean,
Like,
it's not updated.
no, it's
Whatever.
updated.
Okay.
Yeah, he's nowhere to be found. That's weird. That is weird. Okay. Here, New York Giants. Yeah, he's nowhere to be found. Huh? When I literally just saw him. Huh? Okay, it's weird. But now let me go into this one. This one's much better. Left tackle. Right, left tackle. Wow. Yeah, no. They haven't okay, I guess they haven't logged in his contract yet. So yeah, Andrew Thomas got $67 million guaranteed to be the starting left tackle for the New York Giants. Good decision. I think it's a great decision. Um different positions. People then bring up Saquon Barkley again. Be like, oh, look at Saquon. Looking at Andrew Thomas getting this big deal. Looking at Dexter Lawrence getting this big deal. What about Saquon? Different positions, different valuations, and different markets. That's the problem with Saquon Barkley. He plays running back. The market, didn't help him. It worked against him. So there's that, unfortunately. But Caleb, what are you looking forward when you see them play at training camp? What are you looking for? What are you going to be watching? What are you going to
Well,
be, seeing? Cornerback battle for cornerback two. Who's a running back you want to see? What's going on? What are we looking
yeah.
for?
Well, obviously with padded practice, can't see too much on what's going on in the trenches there with the offensive and defensive line. It's not padded practice tomorrow, tomorrow. But what you can see, like I said, more of the skilled players. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what the receivers do. Obviously, there's always that one training camp receiver that everybody gets excited over, and there was that guy last year. I forgot what his name was. Um, that actually did make the team, but then after a couple of weeks, he was kind of back down the practice squad. But those type of guys are always there with the receiving core, and at least in the first couple of practices, Jalen Tolbert, this was his time didn't have great or even good rookie season. He needs to show what he's gonna do, and I think at least in the first co-practice he has. He seems to have a rapport with Dak, and he gained that when he was spending a lot of time in the off season with Dak in the Dak yard. That is Dak's backyard. As a football field back there, and he spent a lot of time with them, trying to get that cohesion with Dak. And they said he's been looking good, so excited to see him. Um, but there's another guy that just came out of nowhere. This John Stevens Jr. They said he's been looking great. I've never even heard of this dude, but that's another guy I'm really excited to see. Like you said, the cornerback battles. The Eric Scott, they say he's been showing a little bit. That Eric Scott Jr. That was like the fifth, sixth round pick that we got. But I mean, he could be another Deron Bland, and if he is, then that would be great for us because Deron Bland just came out of nowhere, led the team in interception. So if we have another guy like that, can kind of come in like Deron Bland did with Eric Scott Jr., then that's going to be awesome for us. Like I said, I think Dan Quinn is going to do great things with defense. I have no issues or even questions of what he's going to do with our defense. Like just is mostly on the offensive side, and also just what's going on in that running backs. How's Tony Pollard look after the injury? Definitely be keeping an eye on that. If he looks quick, looks smooth in his cuts, I'll be definitely focusing on what he's up to.
All right, all right. How you liking Oxnard, Caleb? I know you only been there for like 30
Yeah,
minutes.
yeah,
How
I've
you
been
liking
there
it?
for like 30 minutes exactly. Well, it's nice out. It's way better than Vegas and the weather. Well, Vegas is hot as hell. It's really nice out here right now. So I'll definitely like that.
All right, Caleb. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. We're gonna get a lot of training camp stuff from Caleb in the next couple of days. Hey man, Caleb, how about you write an article, man? How about you do that? How about do that?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I can do that. Well, we'll
Yeah,
see.
we'll see. We'll see. Definitely if you're allowed to videotape, you should take some video because I heard at Giants training camp they allowed no filming. There was
Oh,
people
yeah.
walking with signs, no filming. So if you can catch a video here and there, do it. You know,
I'll try. I'll see what I can do.
just don't get arrested. All right. Don't get kicked
I mean,
out.
I don't.
All
I
right.
don't think they are ready for that.
Okay.
That's
Don't
not
get
all.
kicked out. Don't get kicked
Yeah.
out.
Try not to.
Yeah. Yeah. But Caleb, I got a question. Brian and Christian actually have a question for us. What's the best division in football right now? The AFC North, the AFC East, or the NFC East? What's all your thoughts? Tony said
Um,
the Tony said the AFC North. Of course he did.
well, of
Ravens
course, you
fan,
got to say the
ex-
AFC North. I mean,
extremely biased.
but I don't know why he thinks that there's only two good teams in the AFC North.
Mhm.
The other two teams kind of suck. But so I don't know why he would even say that.
Mhm.
But well, it is what it is. Uh, uh,
I'm gonna go with the division that almost had everybody make the playoffs last year.
yeah, I mean, But of course, they're going to come back and say, "Oh, we're being biased and whatnot." But it's just the truth. That I mean, the facts are the facts. We had three teams in the playoffs last year. One team almost made the playoffs.
Mhm.
Not with
See,
Washington.
shout out to Leo Ochoa. He knows ball. Shout out to Leo.
Yeah, that's my dad right over there.
I know Caleb. That's why I brought it up.
Okay,
Shout out to your pops.
okay,
Yeah.
and then yeah, so that's what I would say. I would say the NFC East as well. I mean, those three playoff teams. Two, all three of them got to at least the second round in the
Mhm.
playoffs last year. Um,
Yeah, it was. It was us three and the Eagles. I
yeah,
mean
yeah,
the Niners.
yeah, we were the final four teams.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
how do you not say that it's not the NFC East when we were literally the last four teams in the NFC? You guys got Saquon Barkley back, so I mean, it's all charging ahead with y'all.
Mhm.
We got our crew together, and then the Eagles are always, going to be
All
tough
of our
again.
teams got better. All of our teams got better.
Yeah, I definitely.
Washington does have a massive question mark
It just all
at
depends. I mean, I
quarterback.
think, like I said, but even in the offseason, we said they have a pretty good, solid roster around him. It
Hmm.
just depends on
Sam
what
Howell.
he is. Yeah,
Yeah. We actually in like you know how unbiased we are. We said they have the best receiving group.
yeah,
Like and they do. Curtis Samuel, Jahad Dotson, Scary Terry. That's a great three. With the Giants, the reason the Giants were last is because who the hell are the receivers for the Giants? That's the big question coming out of my observations out of camp. There are so many receivers. Who are the three? Who are the guys? Is Colin Johnson going to come back and say, "Hey, Isaiah Hodgins, the only reason you were successful is that you played my role that I was going to play this year, but I tore my Achilles." Is Isaiah Hodgins and Colin Johnson fighting for one spot? Do we have Darius Slayton coming back? Because I'm pretty sure Jeff Smith, Cole Beasley, they probably get cut maybe, like either camp bodies that know the scheme. Like, is Jalen Hyatt like when is he gonna emerge out of the crowded area? Is he gonna use his speed? Because people saying he's struggling in camp, to get away from Adoree Jackson, took him to school. But I expect that from an 8-year veteran in the NFL against a rookie receiver. You want your veteran cornerback to beat the rookie receiver. You don't want the rookie receiver to come up and just abuse your cornerbacks like that. You don't want that. You want the veteran to win. But when is going to get to the point where like Jalen Hyatt is that number one target? When is that going to happen? Like, when is it going to happen? But then also too, like, what's Sterling Shepard's role on this team coming off of that ACL injury? What's his role? Like, what's his role? And then, same thing with Darius Slayton. Like, no offense to Darius Slayton, he's a burner. He's very fast. But I'm not going to sit up here and say I am confident in Darius Slayton because he has drop issues. And there's one thing receivers can't have, Caleb, is drop issues. Receiver who doesn't like blocking, I'm fine with. That's fine. Fine. But you can't have drop issues. There's one thing that's not negotiable, Caleb. A receiver with drop issues is not negotiable. You shouldn't play. You shouldn't play. If you have drop issues, you shouldn't play. And I'm not talking about like drops like, oh, he dropped it, but there's like a defender on him and he's being draped. Those happen a lot if you drop the ball. But there's been times where he's wide open, Caleb. Wide open.
yeah.
And the Minnesota game. The Minnesota game, Caleb, you remember when he was crossing, it was a cross in the middle of the field. He's wide open.
Oh yeah, I do remember
He's
that one.
wide open. He catches it, he gets that first down. We win the first Minnesota game. He drops it. He drops it, dude. And I'm like, you can't have that. I love Darius Slayton. He's very fast. That's a skill we don't have. A lot of we have two burners. It's him and Jalen Hyatt. He has a skill that really is immense. He takes the top off. He extends the cornerbacks and the safeties out. But the problem is when they throw him the ball, I'm praying to God he catches it. I'm praying to God he catches it. That's the issue. I'm praying to God. Like I can't have that with receivers saying like, if you throw the ball to him, is he gonna catch it or not? Like the speed is tantalizing. It's phenomenal. It's wonderful. I loved it. But 13.9% drop percentage is not something I want to see.
Nope.
And Fox had that graphic up like that. They were ready with the graphic. If he dropped it, they were ready with the graphic. And the graphic was up there by 2 seconds because they knew he was probably going to drop it. And he dropped it. I love Darius Slayton. He's a wonderful dude. He defends Daniel Jones with his life. But you can't drop balls, man. You can't drop it. You can't. That's why I prefer. That's why I prefer. That's why I prefer Larry Fitzgerald over Terrell Owens. Terrell Owens had drop issues.
Yeah.
Terrell Owens had a little bit drop issues. Larry Fitzgerald has. Caleb. You know what the craziest stat about Larry Fitzgerald is, Caleb?
What's that?
He has more tackles than drops.
That's crazy.
He has more tackles than drops. A receiver has more tackles than drops. Caleb, you remember the Niners game against the Packers back in the 90s? You probably don't remember. You're probably like 4, where it was called the catch.
How do you remember? You weren't even born.
Hey, I read. Okay, I read. So that famous, he catches this touchdown pass against the Packers at the end of the game, and he gets emotional. Everyone's happy, right? You know the reason everyone was crying their eyes out? He dropped like 8 balls in the game. Yeah, like 6 drops. That's what's crazy. So receivers dropping balls. So who's going to be the starting receivers? That's the battle. Starting receivers. Who are the 3? Because they had this weird little set where they went 3 receivers, 2 tight ends, no running backs. It was called like I don't know what type of personnel that is, having 3, 2, and no. So like it was called kind of like an empty backfield. And then the other battle I'm looking for is offensive line. Who are the guards? It's all about the guards. And is Ben Bredesen going to take some center snaps? Or are they just going to give it to John Mitchell Schmitz? Schmitz is probably going to be the starting center. You have the 2 tackles, Thomas, Neal. So who are the guards? Who are they? I don't know. That's the battle. Is it Marcus McCathan coming off of the ACL injury? Is it Joshua Ozudu? But his neck. The thing is, man, these neck injuries, they're serious. They're serious. And how bad is the neck injury for Josh? Mark Glowinski on the right guard. You don't need the best of the best. You just need a unit that knows each other and that knows how to play the position together. The way the Giants won their 2 Super Bowls, they didn't have any brand name offensive linemen. They had good offensive linemen who worked as a team. And that's what I'm looking for. Because quarterback, there's no QB controversy this offseason. He's going to be the guy for the next 4 years. I'm done talking about Daniel Jones. And if he's going to lose, I'm done. Like, he's going to be there for 4 years. Get over it. Stop that. Stop it. You stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it right now.
Just saying.
Hey, you have Cooper Rush.
What does that mean?
Exactly. What does me having Tyrod mean?
I mean, Tyrod could probably pretty much do similar things that Daniel Jones can do.
Whatever, Caleb. So Cooper Rush can do too. Cooper Rush undefeated.
No, he didn't. He lost badly against the Eagles.
Yes,
3 interceptions in game.
Well, he has 1 loss. How many losses does Dak Prescott have in his career?
A lot more wins too.
Well, yeah, you good point, but that's not. I'm trying to insult you. All right, I don't need facts right now. All right, screw your facts. All right, but the point is, the guards, the receivers, running back and quarterback, they're set. And then how is the 2022 draft class gonna bounce back, Caleb? Last year's draft class, everyone got hurt. Everybody got hurt. The only 2 healthy players were Kayvon Thibodeau and Evan Neal. That was it. How is the 2022 draft class going to bounce back? Darian Beavers tore his ACL. Marcus McCathan tore his ACL. Michael McFadden played. DJ Davis tore his ACL. Michael McFadden and Darren Beavers have been alternating the inside linebacker 2 next to Bobby Okereke. He's solidified. Is Kayvon Thibodeau going to take that next step? And that's the key. How is that class going to bounce back? Because Dane Belton, we let Julian Love walk. Why? Why did we let Julian Love walk? We drafted Dane Belton for a reason, right? That's the guy that's going to replace him. That's what I'm looking for. How's the draft class last year going to bounce back? Because Dane Belton is faster than Julian Love. Apparently, they loved his ball skills at Iowa. He was quite tremendous. Shout out to his dad, him and Frank Bellinger, his Daniel Bellinger's father and Dane Belton's father. Good men, good men, good men. That's all I gotta say. But that's the key, Caleb. That's what I'm looking for. Anything else, Caleb, for the Cowboys?
That's all I got right now. That's all about it. I mean, there's only been a couple practices in. Just got going here, and like I said, no practice today, but definitely be practice tomorrow, and I'll be out there. They're gonna have their opening ceremony, and they'll be ready to go tomorrow. So I'll be out there watching it.
All right. Without further ado, everyone, thank you guys so much for joining us. Show's a little shorter because it's still early training camp thoughts.
Yeah.
We don't really, our main guys got contracts. Andrew Thomas got a contract, justifiably so. Trayvon Diggs got a contract, justifiably so. So our thoughts on those contracts, Caleb? Great.
Yeah.
Great. We don't really I'm not gonna sit here and give you a detailed analysis about why Andrew Thomas deserved that contract. Because he's like the third best left tackle in the NFL. That's why. End of discussion. But smart business by Joe Schoen getting his contract in before Tristan Wirfs. Because apparently they're projecting Tristan Wirfs is going to break the tackle market. But he plays right tackle. Andrew Thomas plays left tackle. Whatever. So him getting that deal right underneath Laramie Tunsil. Joe Schoen. Masterclass. Good on you, man. Good on you, Joe Schoen. He is a ruthless GM. Ruthless. There's a story about him, kid. Before we go, there's a story of him negotiating with Julian Love. They give him a contract. Julian Love then talks to the Seahawks, gets the Seahawks contract, goes to Joe Schoen and says, "Are you going to match this contract?" And Joe Schoen says, "This is a story. I don't know if it's fact. It could be fiction, but allegedly Joe Schoen says this. All that money you were looking for, we already gave it to Darius Slayton." And they moved on. They gave him a contract. He didn't say yes automatically. He shopped around, got to the Seahawks, and said, "The Seahawks are giving me this. What are you going to give me?" And Joe Schoen says, "I'm giving you nothing because that deal I gave you, I've given it to Darius Slayton. So have a nice day."
Man.
I don't know if it's fact, but allegedly he did that. And you want to talk about ruthless? It's business. It's business. Did I like Julian Love? Yeah, I like Julian Love, but I wasn't in love with him. So I'm not gonna be. I wasn't sad that he left because I saw you drafted Dane Belton, so there's your replacement. If this was like Andrew Thomas or Azeez Ojulari or Dexter Lawrence, but he doesn't do that with those players because he knows you guys are the players we need. You are our cornerstones. He's not gonna like Andrew Thomas gets a deal, and if Andrew Thomas looks for another deal, Joe Schoen isn't gonna be like saying, "Oh yeah, that deal we gave you is gone." Like no, he's gonna be like, "Okay, that's what you want," but like blah blah blah. He's gonna negotiate. But there's players where he's like, "Hey man, I like you and all, but like you're not essential. You can be replaced, but you can't replace Andrew Thomas. You can't replace Dexter Lawrence. He need to lock them up. He locked them up. So good business on Joe Schoen. Good business on Joe Schoen. All right, guys. Caleb, where can people find you, my man?
You can find me at NFLCave22 on Instagram and Twitter, and on this show, as always, Fridays at 3 o'clock.
Guys, my name is Ferris Muthana. You can find me at Ferris Muthana on Twitter. You can find me here every Friday, 3 o'clock. And look at this beautiful jersey I got. Look at this. Look at this baby. Look at this baby. Old school 80s, 90s jersey. Look at this. Look at this. And you know what? Jalen Hyatt. Look at that.
Well, at least
Jalen. Yeah, look at that giant. Look at that baby. It's phenomenal. But guys, thank you guys so much for joining us. Have a wonderful day, and we'll see y'all next time. Peace.